Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 13 of the spring 2026 semester. This is English 2332. I hope you're enjoying Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It really is a fantastic tale, a tightly constructed poem full of alliteration and imagery and just all sorts of wonderful poetic devices. Uh, you really need to get into it to really enjoy it. Look for the details. You know how they say the devil is in the details? Well, in this poem, there's fantastic stories in the details. So read with an eye to detail. Okay, if you're like most of us these days, you're probably a little overwhelmed. You got a lot going on. It's getting close to the end of the semester, and you're trying to look for ways to save time. You may be tempted to look for a good summary. Um, And of course, a convenient way to do that is just ask AI to create a summary for you. There's nothing wrong with that, except, of course, you miss out on the beauty of the poem and most of the details. But also remember, when you read a summary, especially one that's created for you by AI, you're only getting that input that AI has. AI is not creating anything new, they're just pulling together from different sources. But if you look at the sources, you'll find, as I did, that the sources that AI is pulling from aren't very good. What I recommend, if you have to read a summary, or in addition to reading the book, if you want to read a summary, don't just stop at one. Read two or three or four different summaries. Take notes as you go by. I think you'll find that none of the summaries are complete, that there are contradictions when you look at two or three or four different ones. I do encourage you to watch a video if you find a good video out there. Human beings, we are visual creatures. We get so much of our sensory input through the eyes, but this is a fantastic tale, as you know. But it's really hard to include everything. If you read Harry Potter before you saw the book, or if you read the book Harry Potter before you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's just very very difficult to put everything in a book, a well written book, into a video, into a visual experience. And there's so much stuff in here. I really just recommend you read it, highlight the parts that are important, although you probably highlight the whole thing. Summarize it in your own words, take notes, be sure you know. And this is true with all literature. We talked about this way back at the beginning of the semester. CPT. Characters, be sure you know who all the characters are. The basic plot, just a 3 or 4 sentence summary of what happens in the poem, and then the themes, the main ideas. What is this thing talking about? And of course, this is largely a book about Christianity, about how important it is to be a Christian at a time when most of the country wasn't. So, yeah, it's kind of a Christian propaganda type device in a well written prose poem, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. As you work on your last response paper, please keep in mind, we'll go back and look at the comments on your first two. A lot of people really improve from number one and number two in areas like format and structure. Because, yeah, you have to have proper format, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, MLA heading. You got to have all that. It's got to look right. Also, the last sentence of the introduction has to be the thesis. The thesis has to clearly tell what aspect you're responding to and what your response is. Okay, so it's asking you for one specific um, aspect. So if I were doing this, I would talk about the Green Knight, and my response to him is terror or humor or confusion or anticipation. What's he going to do next? When are we going to see this guy again? We do see him again later, by the way, if you haven't got to the end. Uh, just a really, really fantastic story, but be sure that your response paper tells me in the thesis, last sentence in the introduction, what specific aspect you're talking about and what your response to it is. Then you develop that response, you explain that response in the body paragraphs, broken down one chunk at a time. And of course, each chunk begins with its own topic sentence, and each topic sentence relates to the thesis. This is freshman comp, which I'm sure you all remember. But anyway, and then again, I think we have a unit exam. That's week 14. Would it be next week? Okay, so you've got the. Is that right? Hmm. Yeah, I guess it is. You got the unit exam coming up in week 14, and then a week of review, and then the final exam is Monday, May the 4th. The final exam will begin at, well, you can take it online, and it will open at 8 a.m. and close at 11:55 p.m. But if you'd rather take it in person, you're more than welcome to. I'm basically offering all my final exams to all students. Basically the same time over a period of time. But anyway, if you want to take it in person, of course, contact me and let me know. You can come in as early as 5 o'clock. You can take it at 5:30 or 6 or 6:30 or 7. I wouldn't come in any later than 7 o'clock, but you're more than welcome to do that. And the online tests, a lot of students are more productive or more successful in taking those just because, I don't know, maybe we're used to that by now. Anyway, I want to remind you that for the last week of the semester, we are doing Macbeth, William Shakespeare's, one of his greatest plays, maybe not his very greatest, but certainly his great short play. It's a tragedy, and it calls into question the themes of sanity and insanity and revenge, and ambition is the big one, of course, Lady Macbeth, and the witches, women. So kind of keep an eye out. And on that play, you don't need to know all the characters, just the main characters. Your play should tell you, it should give you a list of dramatis personae, dramatic people, and it should tell you these are the main characters and then these are the minor characters. If you'll just learn the main characters and their relationship to each other, you'll be good. You'll also really want to know, and I'll post a video next week, but I'm sure it's also in your folder. What was Shakespeare's attitude toward witches? Did they believe in them? Did they not believe them? Were they real? Were they not real? Because it'll help you to understand how his audience would have seen that play. All right. Good luck. Week 13 rapidly drawing to a close. If you have any questions, email me at jfly@southplains.college.edu. Have a good week.